I'm going to show you guys how I took the paint from this to this without even having to compound. I see a lot of people doing a lot of things. I see a lot of products, a lot of pads, a lot of freaking confusion regarding paint corrections. So I'm going to show you guys the way that I found to be the absolute best way to do it. And it's going to save you a lot of time and a lot of freaking headache. So this is our Fox Body Mustang. We obviously did damn near a full respray. Now this entire side was hit with 1500, 2000, and 3000. And in the end, here's how it looks. So this is gonna pretty much polish right out. You can see here how beautiful that looks. You don't see any isolated scratches or anything that's gonna give us an issue when we go to polish it. Now, as for our trunk, I went ahead and did this side. You'll be able to see pretty much where the difference is right here. I mean, you could see there, very rough. Here, not rough. Rough, not rough. I'm going to show you guys how I did that, and it's going to shock a lot of you. Now, I could honestly spend hours going over everything with paint corrections for you guys. In this case, we're going to go over exactly what I did to make this work. You can apply this to a lot of scenarios when you're doing paint corrections, but for this case, we're going to stick to what I did to fix this. If you are interested in me going full in depth and making a complete series about everything you need to know about paint corrections and clearing up all of the confusion in the industry, let me know. The first thing we're doing is we're taking a hard block. Now this block has a very specific shape to it. It's kind of tapered, right? This block could get a whole video on its own, but just know that the reason why it's shaped the way it is for a reason. I'm not going to use it for that reason today. What I'm going to do, I'll take my 1000 grit, which I'm going to use here instead of 1500 because it's a little rougher than I'd like. I'm going to wrap it around my block like this, okay? So we're not using either of these sides. We're using the very edge of the block like this. And when I'm doing 1000, I'm going to go only in this diagonal direction, okay? So I'm not going to go side to side, and I'm not going to go straight up and down. You guys are going to see exactly why I'm doing that a little later in the video, but just know it's very, very important that each grit gets its dedicated direction. Now, when I'm using my 1000 grit, this is the grit that is going to remove most of that texture for me, right? Because this is the heaviest grit. From here, I'm going to move up. So the main thing I want to look for while I'm sanding is the texture. I want to check to make sure that I'm removing all of the texture I want to remove. Usually when you take your block, you could squeegee it like this and either blow on it or just wait a little bit. It will dry and you'll be able to see how your texture looks. So constantly checking on that is going to help you understand where you're at, because we don't want to sand more than we have to. Now also, when you're doing this, I personally like to keep my heavy grits away from the edge, okay? I'll go probably about an inch to the edge, maybe a half inch to the edge. That's just going to help me when it comes to removing these scratches and achieving the beautiful finish that we're going for. And you'll see I'm holding my paper on both sides of the block like so, right? And I'm using that edge here to sand. The main reason I do this is just because it's comfortable to hold the block like that, as opposed to having to pinch two sides like this and then the paper constantly slips on me. I always have, I always will sand like this. I also find that you're going to get more even cutting when you sand like this, because you're able to give even pressure throughout your hand when you're doing it like that. When you're holding it flat and you have two fingers here and your palm down here, you're not giving even pressure across the entire block. All right, I just finished with the 1000 grit. You can see in the reflection, we eliminated just about all of the orange peel, maybe about 90% of it. And you want to make sure you do that in your first step. The second thing I want to point out, you can see that my scratches are all running in that horizontal right to left direction, right? Now we're going to move up to 1500, again with the block. Now this is a big tip. Whenever you're using paper like this, right? Do not ever, ever, ever take your paper and fold it over like this. Don't do it. Where you have the crease or where you create the crease on the edge, when you're sanding, which should always be with a block, but whether it's with a block or with your hand, that edge is going to leave a deeper scratch than the grit you're using, and you're not going to be able to get it out because you're only going up in grit from here. I'll do the same thing, fold it around my block the same way. And this time what I'll do, I'll go from left to right. And the reason why we're doing it in a different direction than we did the last step is so when we squeegee this off, if I see any scratches going from right to left rather than left to right, then I know that I didn't get some of my 1000 grit scratches out, and I'm gonna have to take my 1500 and give that area a little more attention. One of the biggest issues when it comes to paint corrections is leaving crap behind from the last step. Also with my 1500, I will go all the way to the edge of the panel. Okay, our 1500 is done. So now before I move on to the next step, I'm looking to make sure I don't have any scratches going this way in our 1000 grit direction. We should be only going from right to left here. And so far, everything looks perfect. So we're ready for our next step. Now, in most cases, I would personally recommend probably hitting this with 2000 or 2500, but because I know my clear and because I know this clear is still relatively fresh, I know I can jump up to 3000 and I won't have any issues at all. When I use my 3000, it's going to be on a DA. I'm using 3M Trizac. So I have 3M Trizac 3000 grit here. I'm going to wet it, throw it on there, grab my DA with a soft interface pad. Now you don't have to use a DA when you do this step. I prefer to use a DA because it allows me to be more thorough. Right? When you're doing things by hand, you can pay more attention to the detail, I guess. But when I say more thorough, I mean, it allows me to ensure that each spot is getting hit with more effort than I would generally put in by hand. When you do this step, I wouldn't use a hard block, I would use a soft block. You want to allow this 3000 grit to contour to your edges and everything like that, just so you make sure it's hitting absolutely every single spot, even spots that your hard block might not have allowed you to get. Now, because I used the DA for this step, I should not see any directional scratches at all. If you use a block, I would suggest going in a totally different direction. So since we went up and down both times with the 1000 and 1500, I would go 3000 grit sideways for my last step if I did not use the DA. So we should see no directional scratches at all once this dries. And it is looking absolutely beautiful. Now, as I mentioned, we're not going to compound this. We're only going to polish, but we're going to polish with our compound pad. The only difference between a compound and a polishing pad, assuming that they're both foam, is the stiffness of the pad. The stiffer a pad is, the more heat it's going to allow you to generate on your panel. Anybody who says heat doesn't attribute or heat doesn't contribute to how effectively you correct paint doesn't know what the they're talking about, okay? Heat is 90% of what you're doing here. You need heat to correct paint. So by using a compound pad, we're gonna allow ourselves to generate a little more heat, but we're gonna use polish still because we don't need the abrasiveness of a compound to get these sanding marks out. But we could use a little more heat. Now, what you're gonna do by using this method is you're gonna leave less crap behind to deal with on your next step. Because if you use an aggressive pad and an aggressive compound, you're gonna have a really aggressive cut, and it's not gonna be fun trying to get that crap out with the polishing pad and polish. So I'll show you guys as I work this so you can see that there is absolutely no need at all for compound on this panel. And I would dare say on most panels. I mean, here, this is me just quickly hitting it with one hand. So I'll go ahead and I'll make sure that I'm very thorough now with this. And I'm using a moderate speed. I'm not using too fast of a speed, but I am applying decent pressure on the panel because the pressure is going to create more friction. More friction means more heat. More heat means more correction. And I'll do a crosshatch pattern, so I'll do side to side, and then I'll do up and down. I have never seen anybody else do this before except myself. And what originally made me try this was on one paint correction when I had my own shop doing paint corrections and wraps. I was dealing with holograms that I could not remove, and I could not figure out why I had them in the first place. Well, using an aggressive compound and an aggressive pad is what's going to cause holograms that you can't get out when you move up to the next step. Trying to do this without cutting just to show you guys really quick. So no, it's not going to be perfect yet, but my phone is kind of low on storage. So I want to make sure I show you guys this before it cuts off. And yes, do we still have some scratches in there? Yes, we do. I'm not saying that we don't. But do I need to use an aggressive pad to get those out? No, I don't. Let me show you guys real quick how I'm gonna get those scratches out. So all I'm doing, I'm gonna work a smaller section, and I bump the speed up a little bit, and I'll apply a little bit more pressure, and I'll move just a little bit slower. Right, so we're just gonna do this little section here. Just so you guys can see that I'm not talking out of my ass here. Okay, so we did that little area. Now, let's wipe it off. Check that out. Check that out, guys. Is there one scratch right there? Yeah, there is. But the rest of them in that area, completely gone. Okay, and we didn't use a compound. See that? Now when we go to polish this with a polishing pad, that is going to shine right up instantly. All right, now we're ready to polish. So I have my polishing pad, and I'm going to use again the same polish. This is a finishing polish, right? And I'll do the same thing. I'll do a small section right on top just to show you guys. And I lower the speed a little bit when I do this, because if you use the polishing pad at too high of a speed, it's going to soften up. And then what's going to happen is the inside of your pad is going to leave like circle marks in the paint that are a pain in the butt to get out, because most of the time you have to go backwards to get those out. So here we go. We'll check out that little spot I just did. Check that out, guys. See that? Nothing left behind. And the best part about this is when you do it this way, you're not sitting here going crazy, wondering what you have left from the last step that didn't come out, because every single step of the way, we made every decision here with the next step in mind. So there is no need to having to go back. There's no need to sit there and try to dissect why you have this or why you have that or anything at all. Because the only thing you're gonna have when you do this is perfection. And again, every single step, I'll use the crosshatch method. So I'll go side to side and up and down. So we just finished polishing, right? I didn't even wipe it off yet. And I was thinking, I don't know if I should show you guys this, because this is like my secret, you know, but I'm going to show you guys, okay? And just give me credit if anybody asks you, where the hell did you learn that? We're going to take some water. Didn't wipe the polish off yet, right? Still have polish on there. We're going to just put a little bit of water on this panel like this, right? So we have polish that we just used. We have polish on our pad, and we have water on the car. Now you're going to take your polisher, put it on a nice low speed, and go over this without putting any pressure at all on the machine. What you're doing here is jeweling the paint. So when a jeweler shines jewelry, I don't know if he uses water. I know they use polish and compound and stuff like that, but I'm pretty sure they finish with water. And again, this is something that nobody ever taught me. This is something I learned from doing paint corrections on very high-end cars. I was struggling with a Ferrari one day. My finest polish and my softest pad were leaving swirl marks in the paint, and I couldn't figure out why. So I went and got some water and did this. And long story short, water was all I used for that entire car. And it came out beautiful, just like this trunk lid. All right, I sprayed a little bit of Prepsol on the rag, and it's gonna just take that polish right off because it's just gonna dry it up as soon as I pass over it. It's also a good way to check your work as well, because if there are any oils still left on the car, filling any scratches, this will take it off. 3M sells a product like that, actually, that's designed just for that reason. And the only thing I see is one scratch on this side. See that? Super minor scratch. So I'll probably have to go over that one more time, but check out that finish, guys. It doesn't get much better than that. Now, where the holes are, I didn't go as crazy on the bottom here because the spoiler is going to be covering that. It's only really from here, from the halfway point up, where you're going to see anything. But I mean, look at that. This thing is a mirror now. Anyway, that's going to be it for this one, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, if you got any value out of it, or if you were entertained, if you could, consider dropping a like, comment, that one damn scratch, or maybe even subscribe. Until the next time, peace!